Hey everybody, welcome to the SkyLounge, and this is Overanalysis Paralysis, where I overanalyze shit. There's only one thing I kind of want to talk about: locker room cancers. Now, this goes beyond the realm of sports. I've already talked about this a couple of times in the Lakers review as of late because of the whole issue with LeBron James and what he's done essentially to this locker room for the Lakers. I mean, it's not just himself. There are so many perpetrators behind this toxic environment spewing from the locker room, and it trickles from the organization, up to top to bottom, right? Starts from the owner to the president of basketball operation to GM to the agent of the cancer in the locker room himself. But I want to talk about other, locker room cancers that have happened in other organizations or in sports. Namely, I want to also talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? So in the NFL, I would strongly argue that Antonio Brown is one of the biggest locker room cancers, an absolute diva. And yes, I had this argument with a couple of buddies of mine. They said it's a position that is based on this kind of prima donna mentality. But I won't lie to you. Clearly in NFL, right? There's so many other wide receivers out there. It's not all predicated on being a diva. And so my whole argument becomes, I'd rather take, three really quiet, humble dudes who do their jobs and do them well versus one kind of elite, talented, wide receiver. And that's why I like the Seahawks, right? I mean, not just the fact that, because of the wide receivers, it's my team, but there's something about quiet dudes who just do their jobs, who just shut the fuck up, who don't make it about themselves. That's really refreshing to watch in any organization. And I won't lie to you, boys and girls. The reason why I know about locker room cancers is because I was one of them, all right? At the former place of employment at the Flamingo, there were times where I would have argued that it's the organization's fault that this entire operation is a fucking bust. But I didn't make it any better. I always thought that I was above everybody else, and my work generally speak volumes. At the same time, I became a distraction. I became one of those issue people where I would try to create any kind of chaotic kind of environment if I could, just because I'm always about going against the man, all that shit. And I'm not gonna lie to you, boys and girls, this kind of mentality, maybe it's from my dad, I don't know, but I just don't like this whole authority shit hanging over me at all, especially with things that I feel like I am better at, I'm clearly better at. And that may be coming from a place of arrogance, but at the same time, after years of observation, years of being in an environment where toxicity is just rampant, right? It's hard to just be humble about certain things. It really is. But the reality is humility, communication, and this idea of teamwork is essential for an organization to grow, an organization to evolve, and the organization to get to that next level of what it wants to achieve. But unfortunately, when you have locker room cancers, and again, I speak for myself, I've seen players in other, different sports, different organizations just become absolute toxic cancers. They remember how cancers work, boys and girls. And you science nerds can correct me on this because I'm just basically paraphrasing here. Cancer enters into the body in kind of a virus-like thing, right? And it starts spreading its influence in the host until it kills that host, right? But what do you do with locker room cancers? You have to remove them as fast as you can. Now, in the case of the Lakers, my team, it's unfortunate because if we even suggest the idea of, hey, let's remove LeBron James, people freak out, right? People absolutely freak out. But yeah, I'm one of those people at this point right now that says, listen, if you can get a lot of assets in the near future for this guy, why the fuck not? Why the fuck not? Because I'd rather have a couple of really talented dudes that does not break the fucking locker room chemistry that does not try to trade away all their fucking players in one fell swoop for one guy. I'd rather have somebody else than that, somebody who thinks they're the boss. And I mean, same goes for guys like Antonio Brown for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yes, you're an uber talented guy, I get it, but the way you have disenfranchised that entire locker room, the way you've alienated yourself from everybody, it's a fucking mess. And again, I speak from personal experience of being kind of that element in a business/work setting. So, locker room cancers, man, they are a pain in the ass, and you got to get rid of them as quick as you can, boys and girls. And so that's my overanalysis paralysis for today. I know it's a wee bit short, but generally speaking, when you think about little ideas like this, it only takes a couple minutes to figure out, really. But of course, in practice, it's hard. It's hard to get rid of people. There's obviously contracts. There's obviously relationships and dynamics that you have to think about. So very difficult to do. But this is one guy's opinion, and that's pretty much it. So, boys and girls, follow me at the SC.Y Lounge, and all the links in the description below. Like, comment, subscribe for more daily content.